What's up, everybody? Ryan Thomas here from the Thomas Take Sports Podcast, MyFantasySportsTalk.com, Sabres Hockey Central, Apple Bottom Sports, Ground Force Fights, Buffalo Football Central, Bills Fanatics. Got a long resume. It's getting bigger. Very exciting stuff. Very excited to bring you another edition of the Thomas Take Sports Podcast. This is where it all started. One idea. Me getting asked questions constantly about what my opinion is on sports stuff. And I thought, man, I talk about sports all the time. People always ask me for my opinion. Why not put it out there? Why not? I'm not afraid. I don't mind being wrong. I sure as hell don't mind being right. So, that being said, the Los Angeles Chargers select with the 7th overall pick. We'll cut right to the chase. Ohio State safety Malik Hooker. I'm excited about this pick for the Los Angeles Chargers. Eric Weddle left the Los Angeles Chargers. I believe it was last season or the season before. I keep getting 2015, 2016 confused, and I apologize. But Weddle left the Chargers, went to the Baltimore Ravens. It caused a huge hole in their defense. Anthony Lynn comes over from the Buffalo Bills, the one-time running backs coach, offensive coordinator, and interim head coach in a single season. What a joke that was. An embarrassment. And, I won't get into that because we're talking about the Chargers. I'll give the Chargers their due. But Anthony Lynn brought in as the head coach, known for his ability to have success in the run game. He's got a great running back already on the roster, and Melvin Gordon. I think Melvin Gordon's going to have a great year for the Los Angeles Chargers next year in that scheme. They got another guy returning, and he's not just another guy. He's Phillip Rivers, who's posted Hall of Fame numbers in his career, has yet to reach the pinnacle of the sport, which is a Super Bowl victory. And I don't know if he ever will, which, that's sad to say because he's a great player, great leader, but, it just hasn't turned out that way. And for some guys, it doesn't turn out that way. Some guys never even reach a Super Bowl in their career, but regardless, he's had a very awesome career. Being the top pick in the draft for the Giants, they swapped for Eli back in 2004, and that led to Rivers being sent from the Giants to the Chargers. And, he's been that guy for them ever since Drew Brees was let go due to his shoulder injury. So, it's definitely tough for Phillip Rivers to be considered a guy that, might not go down as one of the better quarterbacks of this generation just because he didn't win a Super Bowl, when realistically he has been one of the best quarterbacks of this generation. His numbers are staggering. So, with that being said, I think Malik Hooker makes sense for the San Diego Chargers here. Eric Weddle, as I stated, is gone. The only concern I have with Malik Hooker on the Los Angeles Chargers, I'm still not used to saying that, is the fact that it was reported that he would miss 4 to 6 months of this year after his surgery that he had just had. So he had surgery, two specifically. I honestly considered taking him out of the slot, but for now, I'm going to leave it alone. As far as his injury goes, it doesn't appear as if he's going to miss any time. It's something that, it's a chance. It's a big chance, but the number one safety is already off the board. Spoiler alert, I got Jamal Adams going to the Tennessee Titans from LSU. Tune into that. My thoughts on him. But Adams, number one safety on the board, is already gone. And I think this makes the most sense. Weddle's departure. Now, Jahil Adai appears to be heading to free agency, leaving for free agency. So the Chargers realistically have no safeties to speak of. And this is a class in Adams and Hooker that have real talent, being first-round draft picks, being guys that can come in, plug-and-play players that will make an immediate difference for the teams that draft them. So that being said, you look at the division. I do this a lot as well. You got the Broncos, you got the Chiefs, you got the Raiders. The Chargers are in a real tough division, easily one of the toughest divisions in football. The Raiders are the last team that I would want to play in the playoffs for the 2017 season. Derek Carr's got a big chip on his shoulder, I suspect, with that injury, ending his season, really ending their season as well. And then you have the Broncos, who will probably have Tony Romo in tow. It's looking that way. Regardless, the Broncos have one of the best defenses in the NFL still. The Chiefs are always competitive. They got a new weapon in Tyreek Hill. They got guys that are definitely game-changing talents on their team. Their defense is not too shabby neither. So, will it be a successful season? Will Malik Hooker win Defensive Rookie of the Year? I don't know, but I definitely think moving forward, if you have that big of a need on your defense, and it's a need that's pretty important in the safety position, you need to make sure that you have a good one. And Gus Bradley will be the defensive coordinator for the LA Chargers. I suspect that he'll be pretty damn happy when the card is agreed upon, and Malik Hooker will be on that card. Great safety, a guy that can close in on the ball carrier, much like Jamal Adams. I really like Malik Hooker a lot. I think that he's a guy that, and again, just like Jamal Adams, played on a team in which they play top competition. The best teams in the NFL, or in the NCAA, is always Ohio State. They play among the best teams in the NFL. They're always among the best teams, I should say. So, this is a guy that has instinct. He works ahead of the play. He has average speed in comparison to Jamal Adams, I would say. But as far as the way he can track down a ball carrier from the wide receiver, as far as the way he can track down a quarterback, he has great eyes, great instinct, always watching the play. His awareness is off the charts. Great tackling safety as well. He is decisive. He goes wherever his instincts take him. And I think as far as his fluidity, his hips are quick, the way he can turn his body, that is from a dual sport background in basketball. And that was something that I watched on a documentary that NFL Network showed, showing how fluid his hips are, and comparing it to his highlights in basketball. He was always running up and down the court, turning, blocking shots. He does the same thing on the football field, to a T. His body looks exactly the same. He can apply what he did in basketball to football, and that's pretty cool. I really enjoyed watching that. So, as far as him being a mirror, he mirrors the quarterback. Very rarely does he take a false step. Great ball skills. Had 7 interceptions in 2016. Can range cover the top to challenge the deep ball. And definitely has great coverage skills. The one knock is that he has 1 year of college experience. He's still learning bits and pieces of the position. But the Chargers would be a good fit for him because of what I mentioned earlier. Gus Bradley is a damn good defensive coordinator, has worked with the best safeties in the NFL, Earl Thomas and Cam Chancellor, and Malik Hooker has a similar skill set to a guy like Earl Thomas, and in some ways he has a similar skill set to a guy named Cam Chancellor. So that is definitely something to look at. The fact that he only has 1 year of real experience in the NCAA. There were tackles that were missed last year as well. When he does make tackles, he wraps guys up, though. But there were tackles that were missed, 17 to be specific. And definitely he has thicker legs, a lower body that is thicker than his upper body. And it appears as if he's still growing, being that he's a year younger than the majority of the guys that are in this draft. It'll be interesting to see what takes place. So, as far as what I read from an NFL scout, Says Hooker is still so raw. You can see him making all of those plays. He's a player who will come in and look bad his first year and then be an all-pro by his third year. I think that's his arc. No shortcut for experience. So that's not the highest ringing endorsement for a team that's using a top 8 pick on a player, but there is potential. Within 3 years, that scout sees that he could be an all-pro. I agree. I think his first 2 years could be rough. His first year could be really bad. His second year could be so-so, and then his third year he could be great. But that's kind of the trajectory I see for the LA Chargers. They're not going to be that competitive this year. They'll be kind of competitive next year, and then by the third year he could be really good. But by then, Phillip Rivers could be gone. So we could see Hooker here. We could see them take Hooker. We could see them go in the middle rounds with a quarterback, second, third, maybe fourth round for a quarterback. It's the heir apparent to Phillip Rivers, a guy with a similar skill set to Phillip Rivers in the 2017 draft. That could be a destination for bad boy Chad Kelly. So that is my take on who the LA Chargers could take in the 2017 draft. 7th overall. I'm sorry, I said 8th overall. Next up, 8th overall, is the NFC champions of Super Bowl 50. That is the Carolina Panthers. One fan that I know of for sure that is interested to hear on what I have to say about the Carolina Panthers is Zach Troutwine. Good friend of mine, been a friend of mine for a long time. Since I was 7, 8 years old, me and Zach have been friends. He is a huge Carolina Panthers fan, true fan, not a guy that bandwagoned or anything like that. We played football together. He was always wearing his Carolina Panthers hoodie during football practice over his practice jersey. That's how dedicated of a fan he was. That thing would get chewed on, ripped up, dirty, muddy, and he'd wear it without even washing it, and it would be smelly, but it was football, and it was a memory that I still have to this day. So, Zach, you asked for it. I'm going to give it to you. My take on who the Carolina Panthers will take with the 8th overall selection. That is coming up next. But for the LA Chargers fans, you have a lot to be excited about with Malik Hooker coming to the LA Chargers 7th overall. I'm shocked I didn't say San Diego once, I don't think, in this podcast episode. It's been really tough. I'm still saying San Diego. I posted a status in which I said Robert Woods could head to San Diego, and then someone said he could be a one-man team. And I'm like, oh, shit, wait a minute. So it's been so weird. I never thought the San Diego Chargers would become the LA Chargers. I did not anticipate that at all. I thought the Rams would be the only team, maybe the Oakland Raiders, but the Chargers, come on, man. They belong in San Diego, but it is what it is. Very excited to give my take on who the Carolina Panthers will take 8th overall. Tune into that. I know Zach Troutwine will be. Take care.